You're sitting there, minding your own business, maybe enjoying a nice lunch. Everything is fine. The world is at peace. And then it happens. From across the table, you hear it. Schlick, schlick, munch, munch, smack, smack. Suddenly, your vision tunnels. Your jaw clenches. Your monkey brain starts scratching the walls of its cage. All you can hear is that person chewing, and all you can feel is a burning, irrational rage that makes you want to flick the table, run into the forest, and live alone forever. If this has ever happened to you, and let's be honest, if you clicked on this video, you already know the answer, you are not crazy. You are not a bad person. You are not just too sensitive. You are the victim of a very weird, very specific, and very fascinating glitch in your monkey brain's operating system. And the craziest part? The reason your brain does this is actually a sign that you might be smarter than average. That's right. Your seething hatred for the sound of someone eating a banana might actually prove you have a superior banana. We're going to dig into the science. We're going to figure out why your inner monkey goes ballistic, and most importantly, we're going to teach you how to make it stop before you end up banned from every restaurant within a 50-mile radius. Let's paint a picture. You're in a movie theater. You've paid $15 for a ticket and another $20 for a tiny bucket of popcorn. The movie is reaching its emotional climax. The hero is about to confess his love. And then the person behind you starts crunch, 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 crunch. Suddenly, you don't care about the hero's love life. You care about survival. Your inner monkey is gripping the bars of its cage, screaming, "Danger! Big predator is eating behind us! We must flee or fight!" You're not watching a movie anymore. You're in a prehistoric standoff, and the only weapon you have is the intense, judgmental side-eye you're about to fire over your shoulder like a heat-seeking missile. This is the curse of the Misophonia sufferer. That's the fancy term for it, by the way. The hatred of sound. But let's be real, it's not all sounds. It's not the sound of a car alarm or a barking dog. No, it's the specific, intimate, squishy sounds of other human beings existing near you. It's the wet, open-mouth chewing. It's the throat clearing. It's the nasal breathing. It's the pen clicking. It's the sound of someone's soul slowly leaving their body as they slurp the last bit of soda through a straw. Your monkey brain treats these sounds like a personal attack. It's like someone is rubbing sandpaper directly on your amygdala. And the worst part? The person making the noise is always completely oblivious. They're just sitting there, happily munching their banana, living their best life, while you're over there having a full-blown psychological crisis, fantasizing about a world without mouths. So why does your monkey brain turn a simple chewing sound into a code red emergency? Well, you can't blame your monkey for this one. In fact, you have to go deeper. You have to blame the other monkeys. See, our brains are wired for social connection. Back in the caveman days, being part of the tribe was the only thing between you and becoming a saber-toothed tiger's lunch. So, your brain developed a system to monitor the tribe. It's always listening, always scanning, asking one question. Is everyone here okay? Is everyone here safe? Part of that monitoring system is picking up on the sounds of eating. When you hear someone in your tribe chewing, a healthy, well-adjusted monkey brain goes, "Ah, good. Bob is eating. Bob is not hungry. Bob is not a threat. Bob is content. I can also be content." It's a social bonding thing. It's the sound of safety. But for about 15 to 20% of you, the chosen people, the elite squad of sound-sensitive warriors, your brain's wiring is a little different. Neuroscientists have done studies using fMRI machines, and they found that when people with misophonia hear trigger sounds, their brains don't just process it in the auditory cortex. Oh no, it goes straight to the party zone. Specifically, it overactivates the anterior insular cortex. This is a fancy part of your brain that handles a few key jobs. It processes emotion, it integrates physical sensations, and most importantly, it manages your sense of self and your internal body awareness. It's the part of your brain that goes, "Hey, that feeling in your stomach? That's hunger." Or, "Hey, that tightness in your chest? That's anxiety." So when you hear that chewing sound, your anterior insula goes into overdrive. It's not just hearing the sound, it's feeling it.
It interprets the sound of someone else chewing as a disgusting, invasive physical sensation inside your own body. It's like the sound bypasses your ears and goes straight to your gag reflex. And here's the killer paradox, the surprise twist that makes this whole thing a cruel joke. That intense emotional reaction, the rage, the disgust, the fight or flight, that's your brain's empathy system backfiring spectacularly. You're not ignoring the person chewing, you're hyper-aware of them. Your brain is trying so hard to connect, to monitor the tribe, that it's literally feeling their physical state. But because the sound is unpleasant, your brain misinterprets that hyperconnection as a threat. You're not a sociopath who hates people. You're an empath whose hardware is glitching. Your monkey is just trying to groom the other monkeys, but it's doing it with a cheese grater.
Now, this is where it gets really fun, because once your brain has tagged chewing sounds as a threat, it doesn't just stop there. Oh no, your brain is an overachiever. It starts a file, a very detailed, very sensitive file. Pretty soon, your brain isn't just waiting for the sound, it's listening for it. You know that feeling when you're in a quiet room and you know someone is about to take a bite of their apple? The anticipation is almost worse than the event itself. Your muscles tense up, your jaw tightens, you're holding your breath, just waiting for the crunch. You're not even living your life anymore. You're just a radar dish, rotating slowly, scanning the horizon for the next acoustic attack. This is the hypervigilance trap. By trying to protect you from the bad sound, your brain puts you on permanent high alert. You start avoiding situations. You stop eating lunch with your coworkers. You eat dinner in a different room from your family. You start screening potential romantic partners based on their chewing volume. He's cute, he's funny, he has a good job, but I saw him eat a salad once and it haunts me. You've become a prisoner in your own life, all because your monkey brain is trying to protect you from a sandwich. The irony is thick enough to choke on. The very mechanism designed to keep you safe and connected to the tribe is now isolating you from everyone. You're alone in your room, eating your sad, silent dinner, while the rest of the world happily smacks away, completely unaware of the war you're waging inside your own head. Okay, enough doom and gloom. You didn't come here just to find out you're an emotionally constipated genius empath. You came here to figure out how to stop wanting to throw a banana at the next person who eats one. So, let's get practical. Here are 4.5 actionable, science-backed strategies to retrain your inner monkey. 1. The strategic banana, aka auditory distraction. This is your first line of defense. It's simple, it's effective, and it's the mental equivalent of giving your monkey a different puzzle to solve. We know the problem is that your brain is giving too much attention to the trigger sound, so we're gonna hijack that attention. How to do it? Invest in a good pair of noise-canceling headphones, but the key is what you listen to. Don't listen to silence, because your brain will just find the chewing through the static. Listen to pink noise or brown noise. It's deeper and more soothing than white noise. Or listen to podcasts or audiobooks. The human voice, specifically a narrative, is incredibly effective at engaging the language centers of your brain and pulling focus away from the trigger sound. Why it works. It's like giving your monkey a shiny new banana to play with. The trigger sound is the boring, old, slightly rotten banana peel on the ground. Your brain wants the shiny new banana. By providing a compelling auditory stimulus, you're giving your brain a better option, making it easier to ignore the annoying one. 2. Name that tune. The labeling technique. This one sounds a little woo-woo, but stick with me. It comes from mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and it's about deconstructing the sound. How to do it. When you hear the trigger sound, instead of labeling it as annoying or disgusting, just describe it to yourself in the most boring, clinical terms possible. Ah, I am now hearing the sound of a wet, starch-based food item being compressed between 2 molars. Or that is the sound of air moving through a nasal passage. You're not judging it, you're just observing it. Why it works. Your emotional reaction, rage, disgust, comes from the amygdala's quick and dirty interpretation of the sound. The labeling technique forces your prefrontal cortex, the smart, logical part of your brain, to get involved. It's like calling in a manager to deal with a difficult customer. By forcing your brain to process the sound analytically, you short-circuit the emotional hijacking. You take the power away from the screaming monkey and give it back to the zookeeper. 3. The empathy flip, the role play. Remember how we said this whole mess is caused by overactive empathy? Let's use that for good, not evil. How to do it. When you hear someone chewing, try this little mental exercise. Don't look at them with rage. Look at them with pity.
Imagine they just got out of a 12-hour shift. They haven't eaten all day and this is their first meal. They're so hungry they can't help but scarf it down. Or imagine they're a little kid who just discovered pizza for the first time. Or better yet, imagine they are a very cute, slightly messy puppy. Why it works. You're intentionally redirecting your hyper-empathy. Instead of focusing on the sound and how it makes you feel, you're focusing on the person and imagining a benevolent reason for their behavior. You're transforming them in your mind from a threat back into a member of the tribe. You're tricking your anterior insula into feeling a different, more positive physical sensation, tenderness or amusement instead of disgust. It's hard to be furious at a hungry puppy. 4. The safe word, the pre-agreed signal. This one requires a partner, a friend, a family member, or a significant other. It's the most direct and honestly the most mature solution. How to do it. Have a calm, non-accusatory conversation with the people you live or eat with. Explain that you have this weird brain glitch. Frame it as a you problem, not a them problem. Then come up with a code word or a signal. Something silly like purple gorilla. When they start eating in a way that's triggering you, you can say, hey, purple gorilla. It's a neutral, non-confrontational way to signal that your monkey is starting to freak out. Why it works. This does 2 amazing things. First, it gives you a sense of control. You're not a passive victim of the sound. You have a way to influence the situation. Second, if they're a good person, they'll appreciate a gentle heads up and will try to be more mindful. It turns a silent, seething conflict into a collaborative effort. Plus, saying purple gorilla is a lot less likely to start a fight than screaming, could you chew with your mouth closed, you heathen? 4.5. The emergency exit, the permission slip. This is the half step, the last resort. How to do it. Give yourself permission to leave. If you're at a party, a dinner, or a family gathering and the sounds are overwhelming and none of the other techniques are working, just leave. Go to the bathroom for 5 minutes. Step outside for some air. Take a walk around the block. Why it works. You're removing yourself from the trigger before your brain goes into full meltdown mode. It's not running away, it's strategic regrouping. It reinforces to your brain that you are in control, and you have the power to remove yourself from an uncomfortable situation. It stops the cycle of building rage and prevents you from associating that place or those people with pure negative emotion. A 5-minute break is way better than a 5-year grudge.
So what happens when you start using these tools? What's the banana at the end of this rainbow? It's not that the sounds magically disappear. Sorry, the world is still full of mouth breathers and chip crunchers. But what changes is your relationship to the sound. You stop being a puppet whose strings are pulled by every stray smack. Imagine this. You're at a dinner table. Someone starts eating an apple. The old you would have felt the familiar tension, the white-hot rage blooming in your chest. But the new you? The new you hears it, acknowledges it, and maybe even smiles to yourself. You think, there's my monkey, rattling its cage over an apple. Cute. And then you go back to your own conversation, your own meal, your own life. You are no longer a prisoner in the theater of your own mind. You get to sit at the table. You get to enjoy the movie. You get to be present with the people you love, even if they eat like actual farm animals. You've taken your power back from a handful of rogue neurons. You've trained your monkey to stop throwing its feces every time someone eats a banana and to just enjoy its own banana.
Look, your brain is a magnificent, complicated, and sometimes deeply ridiculous organ. It's a 3-pound blob of fat and electricity that occasionally decides that the sound of someone breathing is a personal insult. But by understanding why it does this, you stop being afraid of it. You stop being a victim of your own biology. You are not broken. You're just wired a little differently. You're part of a special club of people whose brains are so good at connecting with others that they accidentally overconnect. And now you have the tools to turn that volume down. If this video made you feel just a little bit less crazy, or if you now have a new plan for your next family dinner, do me a favor and smash that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you're one of the smart, sensitive monkeys, and it should show you more videos like this. And if you want to join the tribe, the one where we don't judge you for your sound sensitivities, hit that subscribe button. We've got a whole jungle of videos about the weird things your brain does. Also, if you want to support the channel and get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content and live Q&As, where we can talk about your specific monkey mind issues, check out the join button below. It's a great way to keep this troop of curious monkeys well-fed with bananas. Thanks for watching. Now go forth, eat your snacks loudly in the privacy of your own home, and try not to judge your fellow humans too harshly. They're probably doing the best they can.